Hey, I'm Joe with RevZilla, and today we're taking a look at the ODI Fusion and Fusion Pro throttle tubes available at RevZilla.com. So ODI got started under the name Ornate Design Incorporated in the early 80s. They were the creator of the original mushroom grips for our BMX bikes back in the 80s and also boogie boards. They were also the first company to come out with lock-on grips in the early 90s. So what we have here are aluminum throttle tubes as an upgrade over the stock plastic ones commonly found on modern dirt bikes. So they're universal fit, but they do include different throttle cams depending on which bike you have. So we'll get into that in just a second. But as far as pricing goes, they're $40 and $60. They're both made of 6061 T6 aluminum, so they're really, really stout, tough material. And they both have a nylon sleeve inside. So hopefully the camera can pick up this little nylon sleeve inside, which actually helps the throttle slip nice and easy over the aluminum handlebar for a nice, good, solid feel. So the main difference that you'll see with the Fusion Pro, this is a sealed bearing in the end of the Fusion Pro. So this is a very, very smooth operating throttle. Now to me, when I look at a modern dirt bike, they're so precise and built so nicely throughout the whole machine top to bottom, but then you have this plastic throttle that has all this slop. So it really seems to be kind of lacking. I would expect bikes to almost come with a sealed bearing throttle at this point, but ODI has a nice option here where you can see this part actually slides into the end of the handlebar, and then the bearing end cap is over here. So you see that threads in nicely. So what that does is allows really precise control of the throttle and of course steering and handling the motorcycle. But the only downside really is that if you are an off-road racer who uses wraparound handguards, you'll have to go to a flag style or independent style handguard if you want to run a bearing throttle, because this is taking up that same mounting point. But if you do prefer to run wraparound handguards like I do, I'm an East Coast rider and racer, there's a lot of trees where I go, so I do need those handguards. You can go with the Fusion. So the Fusion here has a removable end cap. Just be mindful that it does have a little bit of thread locker on it, so just a little heat goes a long way to get this end cap out. But you can see here, now you could run that wraparound handguard because it can go right into the end of the handlebar, and that nylon sleeve is inside, allowing you that nice, precise, smooth feel of the throttle. So we talked a little bit earlier about the throttle cams. The V2 throttle cams are included with ODI's lock-on grip. So if you've used those before, you're familiar with how these throttle cams work. So they include 5 different throttle cams. There's a few different options here for 4-stroke. You can see it has 2 throttle cables and then a couple options here for 2-stroke. There's a little table included in the throttle package to look up which bike you have, and then that'll show you which throttle cam to choose. So this one here you can see is cam letter D. And then this will pop right onto the hex end of the throttle like so. Boom, ready to go. So then you could bolt your stock throttle housing right around that. So as far as installation goes, no surprises. If you've changed grips, or serviced your throttle anytime before, it's only about a 10 or 15-minute job. But it's a good opportunity to clean the handlebar, make sure you clean and lubricate your throttle cable or cables, and check and see if they're kinked or frayed. It's a good opportunity to upgrade or change your throttle cables at that point when you go to put one of these new throttles on. But overall, I think ODI offered a great option that's a universal fit with some throttle cams specific to modern dirt bikes. But if you'd like to see what other riders have to say about them, click the info button on your desktop or mobile device. And as always, if you have any questions about these or anything else you see on our website, give our Gear Geeks a shout at 877-792-9455 or shoot an email to cs@revzilla.com. Thanks for watching our video today about the ODI Fusion and Fusion Pro throttle tubes. I'm Joe, and I'll see you next time.